I just put out a song called There Must Be Fire. I just want to talk a little bit about some experiences I had with that song, and I'm going to talk about something that I learned that Taylor Davis told me that was the best advice that I've gotten from her in terms of like this area. I've gotten a lot of good advice from her course. I joined this course called Musician of All Trades, if you're not familiar. And that's basically a course that she put together. She's a really great YouTube violinist. And she put this course together basically teaching musicians basically what she did to get to where she is so she could make a living off of music. And it's a really, really awesome course, and I recommend taking it. I'm not like trying to promote it necessarily, but it is freaking great, and I really got a lot out of it. So it's cool because so there's a private Facebook group in the course, so anyone who's taken the course can join this private group, and like every month in the group she has a Q&A, so anyone in the group can just ask her whatever questions they want. Okay, so now backing up, just rewind a little bit to 5 years ago. I wrote There Must Be Fire, and so that was 2016, so I was 26, that was early 2016. So my skills as far as recording back then were not nearly as good as they are now, and I still feel like I'm definitely a work in progress. Like I definitely still want to get better and better or whatever. But back then it was just like I was barely doing anything to the songs. Like the only thing I knew about mixing at the time was the very basics, which is just like volume and panning, but just very basic stuff. And as far as the drums and stuff, I was using Easy Drummer, so like drum programming, and I didn't know anything about trying to make it sound more realistic, which I'm a lot better at now. But again, I'm still making progress, but anyway, a lot better at now. Before, when I first put out that song 5 years ago, basically the drums were just, they sounded really mechanical. There wasn't even any bass. Like I never put any bass in any of my songs. I just didn't. For some reason, I just didn't think it was necessary. Then later on, I realized how necessary, how really essential it is. Bass is super, super essential. That's something that it took me a while to learn. At first, I was just like, who needs bass? But that was just like, dude. After a while, it's like, this is lacking something, man. Like, it was lacking, it was just felt really, like thin or something like that, if that makes sense. Just lacking that low end that makes it kind of sound heavy, like, sound like it has balls. Honestly, that's the term that I'm thinking. So anyway, so 2018, I uploaded an album called Brave the Tempest, and it had that song on it. That was one of the songs, There Must Be Fire. And so I had that upload on Spotify and all those other places. And I think the thing that was interesting was that I felt good about the playing, and I felt good about my songwriting for the most part. But I did not feel good about the recording quality. And it was to the point where whenever someone asked me, like, hey, do you have any music online or whatever? And I would say, I felt like I had to say a disclaimer. Like, yeah, it's online, but I mean, it's not pro or whatever. It's not professionally done. Like, I felt like I had to give a little disclaimer. And it wasn't until I said that to my doctor, who is a musician, and he basically was just like, don't undersell your art. Just don't. And I was like, okay. And so from then on, I just made a point to not say that, to not, almost like prepare someone, like just in case, it's just not totally pro. I made myself not say that after I heard him say that. So that was really good advice. So the thing is, I stopped saying that, but I still always felt like I wasn't satisfied with it. So it felt weird, is like I'm talking to them about this product that I have online, these songs that I wrote, didn't feel that great about the recording quality. And so it was interesting because about a year or a year and a half later, like 3 of them finally started gaining some traction. So There Must Be Fire was actually my most popular song on there, and it had gotten like 2,500 listens at the time. And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. It's actually gaining traction. But it was weird because I had this weird, I was like torn because it was cool that it was gaining traction finally. But at the same time, I was just like not satisfied with it. And so I actually brought that up to Taylor in one of the Q&As. I asked her, do you think I should leave these up and let the songs gain more traction since they're finally getting somewhere? Or do you think I should take it down since I'm not even like satisfied with the recording quality and I feel like insecure about it basically? What do you think is the better idea? And her answer, basically she was just like, only post things you're proud of. And I was like, oh, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. So that was kind of like a huge light bulb moment. So after she said that, I just went and I just took that album down. I just took it down. It was kind of painful because I was like, damn it had all these like listens and it was getting somewhere, but overall it felt a lot better because I'm like, okay, so now I can kind of start from scratch and actually start posting things that I am proud of, right? Okay, so from there, I posted another song, and I actually got this one done by a producer, and because I wanted it to sound really, really good quality, and that was Blessing of Darkness, if you know that one. But it took me like 5 months, actually, to finally... Actually, I remembered something else that she said that I kind of had forgotten, because I was still feeling insecure about my recording quality. And so I remembered that she also said, are you at least like 85% proud of your song? And that's something that I actually had forgotten about. And I actually started to reflect on that more. And I'm like, am I 85% proud of it? And it took me a little bit, but I was just like, you know what? I am. Like, overall, I'm proud of it. I am proud of it now. Like, if I listen to my stuff now, as opposed to before, and I'll actually show you before and after so you can hear what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like it's 100 times better. And then that kind of changed everything. And then I actually started uploading my own recordings again. And so I posted a bunch of songs, and then my last one was There Must Be Fire. So I was like, I decided to re-record that one and post it. Now that I realized that I am overall proud of it. What should I do? I think maybe at first I'll show you just how it sounds now. And I'm actually going to go to the part where I feel like you can hear the biggest difference. So I think it's somewhere around here. That's not my song. Alright, so that's how it sounds now. And now we're going to go into the old version. I haven't actually listened to this in a little while. So this is actually the CD that I had. These are all the songs. Brave the Tempest, which I probably will like recreate, but I'm probably going to call it something different. I might just call it There Must Be Fire. But anyway, this is actually the old one, 5 years ago. Let's go back to the other one again. Let's do that. You know what I mean? It sounds like smaller. If we're still learning how to mix and stuff, like, should you wait until you become as good as like the dude who records your favorite band? Like, should you wait until you record at the level of the guy who does Metallica or something like that? I don't think so. You could be waiting a really, really long time. So I think it's a good idea to just kind of see it in the sense of like, where are you now? Where am I right now? That's kind of what I realized. That I shouldn't compare my stuff to like someone who's been doing it for like decades. That just doesn't even make sense. And the other thing is like, is it really like that big a deal? Like maybe it's actually more in your head. That's something else that I kind of was thinking of. It's like, can you think of some songs that you love, but they're not necessarily like the best quality ever? Like maybe the quality isn't that great recording wise, but the song makes you feel something. I can definitely think of stuff like that. It's like there's something that isn't 150%, but I still love the song because it makes me feel something. You know what I'm saying? So I guess in that sense it kind of becomes more preferential and kind of based on the individual. It's like, personally, what are you proud of? It's like based on where you are and how far you've come up to this point, everything considered, are you actually like at least like overall proud of the content that you're putting out? And so it took that whole thought process for me to realize that I actually was. And I no longer feel this feeling like I need to give them a disclaimer anymore. I don't feel like, you know, I have to prepare them or anything because I'm actually proud of it now. And so yeah, really great advice. Thank you, Taylor. That was really great advice. And I hope you got something out of this. And yeah, post new stuff every Monday, so definitely subscribe if you're interested. And you can check out my stuff at Spotify if you're interested. And the link's in the description for that. And I want to say thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys are freaking awesome. And I'll see you in the next one. See you.